Hi kitchen friends, I have a question for you. Have you ever eaten a root? Do you know what a root is? Okay, a root is a part of a plant. So the roots are underground, and if you've ever taken care of a plant and you know about watering them, that water goes down into the dirt in the ground, and the roots are what suck the water up for the plant. Okay? Next question. Have you ever eaten a leaf? You know what leaves are, right? Trees have leaves, flowers have leaves, other plants have leaves. Other plants like vegetables, like the vegetables that we eat. And depending on what part of the vegetable we eat, leaves, roots, they're called different things. So some vegetables are called root vegetables. And I went out into the garden so that I could get some video to show you exactly what I mean. These plants right here are radishes. They're baby radishes. And over here, we have some radishes that have been growing longer. So they are actually ready to be harvested and be eaten. See? So this is an example of a root vegetable because the part we will eat is growing underground. See? Lovely radish right there. Over here, got several that are ready to be harvested. That. It's a good one. It's another good one. Ooh, look at that one. Some of these are a little small and can grow a little bit longer. This one's about coming out of the ground all the way, so we're going to go ahead and pull him. All right, do we see any others that are ready? I think I'm going to let some of these guys keep growing. Maybe this one right here. That'll do nicely. So we've got our lovely, freshly harvested radishes. This kale is an example of a vegetable where we eat the leaf. So it is not a root vegetable because we're eating what's above ground. So to harvest it, which is kind of hard with one hand, but you can just cut off what you want and keep cutting till you have all you need. So see, you have probably eaten a root. If you've had a potato or a carrot, those both grow underground and are called root vegetables. And I showed you some radishes, but that's also how carrots grow. And I showed you kale, and you may not have had that, but if you've had lettuce or anything like that, you've eaten leaves. So whether it's a root vegetable or it's a leaf or it's something else, sometimes trying new veggies is a little bit scary or just seems gross. And I've found a good way to try new things is maybe with a little dip. And so today we're gonna make a pickle dip. And hopefully you'll think it's so delicious, it'll make you feel like trying vegetables that maybe you've never had before. So here's how you make it. To make our pickle dip, we need 8 ounces of softened cream cheese, and we're gonna need some pickles and pickle juice. So I've got a jar of dill pickles here, and I just took a couple out and chopped them up until I had a 1/4 cup. So that's the first thing that's going to go in is our chopped pickles. And I will go ahead and stir those around. The next thing is we need 4 tablespoons of pickle juice. So, here we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Stir that all around until it gets all mixed in with our cheese and pickles. I'm going to add just a little bit of chopped up fresh dill to my dip.
Dill is an herb used to flavor your food, things like dill pickles and other stuff. So to use dill or to harvest it, you just got to cut off however much you need.
Here I have some veggies to try with the pickle dip. These are the radishes that I harvested earlier, the root vegetable. I also got a yellow squash and a bell pepper. Have you ever had any of these? You may have had all of them. You may not have tried any of them, but I wanted you to see them growing outside, so here they are out in the garden. These are our yellow squash plants here in the garden. You can see some teeny tiny ones and some bigger ones that are ready to be harvested, at least almost ready. This is the bell pepper plant. And here's one that is just about ready to be picked. Okay, I've got our veggies all cleaned up. And look how pretty the radishes are. They're white on the inside. I am going to try the dip with a slice of squash, because squash is another one of my favorite vegetables. Here goes. Mmm, that is really yummy. Of course, I love cream cheese and I love pickles. So, can't really go wrong, in my opinion, with those. Before our story, I wanted to show you today's nonfiction selection a little more closely. It's called Plant Parts Smarts by Eric Braun, and you can check it out from the library if you're interested in learning more about the parts of a plant. And I just wanted to give you a quick tour, show you a couple pages like this. This shows the roots, the part of the plant that's underground that we talked about. And this right here tells you more about the leaves of a plant. So if you're interested, like I said, this would be a good book to check out. But the library has lots of other books about plants. Our story today is Tops and Bottoms, adapted and illustrated by Janet Stevens and published by Harcourt Brace and Company. Once upon a time, there lived a very lazy bear who had lots of money and lots of land. His father had been a hard worker and a smart business bear, and he had given all of his wealth to his son. But all Bear wanted to do was sleep. Not far down the road lived a hare. Although Hare was clever, he sometimes got into trouble. He had once owned land too, but now he had nothing. He had lost a risky bet with a tortoise and had sold all of his land to Bear to pay off the debt. Hare and his family were in very bad shape. "The children are so hungry, Father Hare. We must think of something," Mrs. Hare cried one day. So Hare and Mrs. Hare put their heads together and cooked up a plan. The next day, Hare hopped down the road to Bear's house. Bear, of course, was asleep. "Hello, Bear, wake up! It's your neighbor, Hare, and I have an idea." Bear opened one eye and grunted. "We can be business partners," Hare said. "All we need is this field right here in front of your house. I'll do the hard work of planting and harvesting, and we can split the profit right down the middle. Yes, sir, Bear, we're in this together. I'll work and you sleep." "Huh?" said Bear. "So what will it be, Bear?" asked Hare. "The top half or the bottom half? It's up to you. Tops or bottoms?" Let's see," Bear said with a yawn. "I'll take the top half, Hare. Right, tops." Hare smiled. "It's a done deal, Bear." So Bear went back to sleep, and Hare and his family went to work. Hare planted, Mrs. Hare watered, and everyone weeded. Bear slept as the crops grew. When it was time for the harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! You get the tops and I get the bottoms." Hare and his family dug up the carrots, the radishes, and the beets. Hare plucked off all the tops, tossed them into a pile for Bear, and put the bottoms aside for himself. Bear stared at his pile. "But Hare, all the best parts are in your half." "You chose the tops, Bear," Hare said. "Now, Hare, you've tricked me. You plant this field again, and this season I want the bottoms." Hare agreed. "It's a done deal, Bear." Do these look familiar, by the way? These are radishes, right? And what's up here? This is the part that was growing out of the ground and it got cut off, because this is the part you eat. The root. So Bear went back to sleep, and Hare and his family went to work. They planted, watered, and weeded. Hare slept as the crops grew. When it was time for the harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! You get the bottoms and I get the tops." Hare and his family gathered up the lettuce, the broccoli, and the celery. Hare pulled off the bottoms for Bear and put the tops in his own pile. Bear looked at his pile and scowled. "Hare, you have cheated me again." "But Bear," Hare said, "you wanted the bottoms this time." Bear growled, "You plant this field again, Hare. You've tricked me twice, and you owe me one season of both tops and bottoms." "You're right, poor old Bear," sighed Hare. "It's only fair that you get both tops and bottoms this time. It's a done deal, Bear." These roots don't look like the type for eating. Came off of the lettuces and the celery. So, Bear went back to sleep, and Hare and his family went to work. They planted, watered, and weeded, then watered and weeded some more. What's Bear doing? Bear slept as the crops grew. When it was time for the harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! This time you get the tops and the bottoms." There in front of Bear's house lay a high field of corn. Hare and his family yanked up every corn stalk. Hare tugged off the roots at the bottom and the tassels at the top and put them in a pile for Bear. Then he carefully collected the ears of corn in the middle and placed them in his own pile. Bear rubbed his eyes and watched. "See, Bear, you get the tops and the bottoms. I get the middles." "Yes, sir, Bear, it's a done deal." By now, Bear was wide awake. "That's it, Hare," he hollered. "From now on, I'll plant my own crops and take the tops, bottoms, and middles." Hare and his family scooped up the corn and hopped down the road toward home. Bear never again slept through a season of planting and harvesting. Hare bought back his land with the profit from the crops, and he and Mrs. Hare opened a vegetable stand. And although Hare and Bear learned to live happily as neighbors, they never became business partners again. The end. So, that one's funny, but you really only get the joke if you know about root vegetables, and that's what bottoms are, and tops are lettuces and things that grow above the ground. So, along the lines of what we talked about earlier, of eating our veggies and things like that, this is a cute little book that I would recommend called Little Pea by Amy Krauss Rosenthal. It's kind of a silly book. You may even see it sometime on a Kids in the Kitchen program. But you can check that one out at the library. And then another one that's just about sharing vegetables and is kind of another folk tale, like tops and bottoms, is Stone Soup by Marcia Brown. Another one you might see on a Kids in the Kitchen program, but I would recommend reading it. There's lots of versions of this story right here. That is all the time I have for today. I will see you next time.